The big problem I have with this whole deal is when they showed up armed guards. I've got pictures on my phone. I took the pictures of them carrying pistols and stuff. That really kind of upset me because of the fact that my county sheriff shows up and tells me to make sure I don't bother them. These were the surveyors that come on our property unannounced. I've never dreamt in South Dakota, I just really ruled it out, that this would ever happen. My daughter told me 10 years ago, Dad, carbon credits are coming. She says, you better get ready for it. And I says, there ain't no way. This is South Dakota. Nobody's going to put up with this. Well, guess what? Here we are. I don't know if we can stop this, but I do know one thing. If we don't stop it, we are going to be a socialist-controlled network. It's just here to stay. If we don't have property rights, we have nothing. This whole regime, I can't find one good thing about it. It's taken perfectly good ground, turning it to waste ground. Why would you make something that you breathe that's not harmful and make a toxic waste out of it? I'm not a highly educated person, but it makes no sense to me. I didn't think we'd ever have to fight this fight because I figured, my goodness, there ain't nobody in Pierre would ever do this. But I'll tell you what, 2 years in Pierre, I found out there's only two things that motivate people, is greed and fear. That's the only thing that really makes people move their thoughts, makes them do what other people want them to do. And I didn't realize that the greed and the corruption in our system was as bad until I spent 2 years in Pierre at the legislators down there. The biggest takeover of property rights you've ever seen. Actually, I don't call it invasion of property rights. It's the giving up of our property is really what it is. Why would three people 250 miles away from where we live and pay taxes have a better knowledge of how our property should be used or what should be built? And if it was going to benefit anybody, this pipe would have all been in the ground already. My dad gave up ground just to get a road, never charged anybody. My grandfather, he said he built roads by himself because we needed roads. Here come the electricity people. Here come FEM, greatest thing in the world. We didn't even have electricity on that farm. It took us 2 years to get electricity. Guess what? Nobody ever protested that. My dad signs lease after easement for water, for gas, for everything, because it benefited people. It would produce something. This isn't going to produce nothing. It's a complete waste, all for the sake of some more people to make more money off the taxpayers and claim it's such a good deal. If this whole system was good, do you think they'd have to show up on my farm with a gun? Or you don't have a good program when you have to threaten people with firearms. My local sheriff told me, make sure you stand down, do not harass these people. And I said, well, they're the ones with the gun, not me. What program would ever make you think that we want this in South Dakota if it's so bad you have to be protected with a gun? If it was a good program, the pipe would be in the ground. And if it was going to do something good for South Dakota, the pipe would be in the ground. SB 201, that was the worst thing that our legislators that voted for that could have ever done. A 99-year lease. That's worse than giving it up. We're held responsible. We get to pay taxes. 99 years? This is insane. I really hope that people in the city understand that this pipeline is going to take food out of existence. That's the biggest thing. And this idea of livestock, you start tagging these cattle just for that, what do you think is going to happen? Pretty soon, if they don't like what you're doing, you ain't going to be able to sell those cattle. You ain't going to move them. This 30-30 deal, this whole mess of green stuff, is nothing more than to get control of the food chain. It's not going to do you any good. It's not going to do this ground any good. It's strictly a control thing. And what I don't understand is why or how so many of our politicians have turned a blind eye. But after being in Pierre, I'm pretty sure I know why they're doing it. It's all for money.